Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, Text 1. Shri Shuka Vacha Nishamya Kosha Ravina Puvarnitam Hare Katam Karanas Sukharat Manaha Punasa Papricha Tum Uttya Tanjiler Nachati Prito Viduro Drittavrattaha.
Sukadev Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidur, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental.
There is hoarding.
Okay. Sukadev Goswami said, after hearing from the sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidur, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord, since he, Vidur, did not yet feel satisfied.
Text 2. Vidarovacha Taneva tu muni shrestha Harina yaknamurtina Aditaityo hiyanyaksho Hata ityanushruma.
Shri Vidur said, O chief amongst the great sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifices the personality of Godhead, Lord, bore.
Text 3. Tasya shotattarakshonim swatam shratrena lilaya Taityarajasya cha brahman kasmate durabunritaha.
What was the reason, O Brahmana, for the fight between the demon king and Lord Bor, while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime?
Text 4. Shratataya na bhaktaya puruhita janma vistaram rishane tripyati mana param kautuhalam hime.
My mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. Please, therefore, speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful.
Text 5. Maitreya sadhu vera tvaya prishtam avatara katham harehe yatvam pichasi martyanam mrityu pasha vishatanim.
The great sage Maitreya said, O warrior, the inquiry made by you is just befitting a devotee because it concerns the incarnation of the personality of Godhead. He is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death for all those who are otherwise destined to die.
Text 6. Yatannapada putro munina gitaya bakaha mrityo kritveva mutyan grim arora harem patam.
By hearing these topics from the sage Narad, the son of King Uttanapada, Dhruv was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of the Lord, placing his feet over the head of death.
Text 7. Atata pitaha soyam shruto me varnita pura brahmana deva devena devanam anuprichatam.
This history of the fight between the Lord as a boar and the demon Hiranyaksha was heard by me in a year long ago, as it was described by the foremost of the demigods, Brahma, when he was questioned by the other demigods.
Text 8. Titirtakshayani shatar maricham kashyapam patim apatya kamachakame sandhyayam richaya trittita.
Diti, daughter of Daksha, being afflicted with sex desire, begged her husband Kasyapa, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in order to beget a child.
Text 9. Ishtvagni jivam payasa purusham yajusham patim nimlochatyarka asinam agnyakra samahatim.
The sun was setting and the sage was sitting in trance after offering oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, whose tongue is the sacrificial fire.
Text 10. Ditiruvacha eshamam tvatkrite vidvan kama atta sarasanaha tunoti tinam vikramya rambam ivamatan gacchaha.
In that place, the beautiful Diti expressed her desire, O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrows and distressing me forcibly as a mad elephant troubles a banana tree.
Text 11. Tat bhavan tayamanayam sa patninam samrittipihi prajavatinam bhadram te mayayuntam anugraham.
Therefore, you should be kind towards me by showing me complete mercy. I desire to have sons, and I am much distressed by seeing the opulence of my co-wives. By performing this act, you will become happy.
Vartaryaptoru mananam lokan avishate yashaha patir bhavatpito yasam prajaya nanujayate.
A woman is honored in the world by the benediction of her husband, and a husband like you will become famous by having children because you are meant for the expansion of living entities.
Text 13. Pura pita no bhagavan daksho duhitra vatsalaha kamrinita varam vatsa itya prichatana pritak.
In days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband.
Text 14. Saviditvat majanam no bhavam santana bhavanaha trayodasha tatattasam yaste shilam anuvrataha.
Our well-wishing father, Daksha, after knowing our intentions, handed over 13 of his daughters unto you, and since then we have all been faithful.
Text 15. Atame kuru kalyanam kamam kamala lochana arto pasarpanam bhuman amogam himayasi.
O lotus-eyed one, kindly bless me by fulfilling my desire. When someone in distress approaches a great person, his pleas should never go in vain.
Text 16. Iti tam vera maricha kripanam bahupasinim pratyahanu nayan vacha pravritananga kashmalam.
O hero, Vidur, Diti, being thus afflicted by the contamination of lust and therefore poor and talkative, was, was pacified by the son of Marichi in suitable words.
Text 17. Eshateham vidasyami priyam viruyadichasi tasya kamam naka kuryat siddhistrevar kitki yataha.
O afflicted one, I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you. For who else but you is the source of the three perfections of liberation?
Text 18. Sarvashramanupataya swashramena kalatravan vyasanarnavam atyeti jalayane yutarnavam.
As one can cross over the ocean with sea-going vessels, one can cross the dangerous situation of the material ocean by living with a wife.
That's it.
Jai Hare Krishna. Is that complete?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Jai Shri Mataji, and I believe it's Prabhu. Thank you for reciting the Sanskrit and the English translation of this particular verses. I'm just going to share you my screen. Just let me know if you can see that, okay?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So thank you once again to Jai Shri Mataji and Pramod Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to today's chat class, 1st of June, 2025. My name is Krishna Govinda. Thank you very much for all of you joining in today. Today's verses that we're going to be reading from is actually from chapter 3, which is the status quo. And so I'll just switch on my camera as well. Okay. Yeah, it's chapter 3, canto 3, status quo, chapter 14, the pregnancy of DT in the evening. And the verses that we're going to read today is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll just start the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskripcha Naram Chaiva Narotanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Dastashu Bhadreshu Nichal Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Mutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, so this is verse 1. Shishaka Vacha Nishamya Koshara Vinopavaritnitam Hari Katam Karana Sakaratmana Punasa Prapacha Tamutya Tanjali Nachati Tripo Vidura Jita Vrata. Okay, translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidura, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord, since he, Vidura, did not yet feel satisfied. So I'll recite the introduction prayers. Please do join in. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshuramantam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shiva Shakavatamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sata Devi Pradamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my obeisances to my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Tinamane, and to ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravana Pachayane, Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Pascharcha Desatarine. Kindly ask for their blessings so that I may be able to speak something which is pleasing, something which is truthful, something which is very pleasurable as well. On the wonderful glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's narrated from the Shema Bhagavatam. Also, kindly seek the blessings of all the listeners who are on this call today. Please kindly allow me to speak so that you may be also be able to partake in the beautiful pastimes and transcendental Leela of Lord Varahadev. So you can see the quality of Vidura. He was not an ordinary person at all. As mentioned previously, Vidura, he had the privilege of having his feet rather, on the lap of Lord Krishna. Now, normally, if we do anything like that, touching Krishna with our feet would be considered a great, great offense. But here Vidura was so fortunate, he was not an ordinary person, but he was able to place his laps, or rather, Lord Krishna placed his feet on the laps of Lord Krishna, and he massaged Vidura's feet. But also from here, we could actually see that Vidura was very, very eager to learn more about the beautiful pastimes of Lord Varahadev. We can see that as we get into the details of all the topics and pastimes of the Lord, his name, form, quality, and pastimes, there's never, never an ending to any of his pastimes, any of his Leela. It's always pleasurable, it's always everlasting, it's always eternal. And the more you want to hear about the glories of the Supreme Lord, the more you become more absorbed in your devotional attachment to the Supreme Lord. Just like the gopis, they were always, always keen to hear the beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna. And even when you hear the story of Devi, when the Brahmana was narrating the pastimes of the beautiful Leela of Lord Krishna, she became so attached to this personality. She had never met Krishna, but just by the description that the Brahmana gave about the wonderful pastimes, his personality, his the way he looked, the way he observed, and the way he took care of others. Rukmini was so enamored by this beautiful personality, Krishna, and he immediately sent a messenger to us, please, my dear Lord Krishna, you are such a wonderful person. I would like to have you as my husband. Please, please, please come. I'm about to get married, and if you don't come and take me away from this unforeseen situation, then I'll be forever doomed. So please come and rescue me. So this is the attraction of the devotees of the Lord. They always seem to be very eager to hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So just to discuss about Lord Varahadev, although in the Srimad Bhagavatam there's only 2 or 3 chapters that covers his beautiful pastimes, it describes how he actually appeared from the nostrils of Lord Brahma, and why he appeared, because the earth had gone to the bottom of the Garbhodaksh ocean, and he came to rescue Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi. And at the same time, there was a situation where the demonic king Hiranyayaksha, the younger brother of Hiranyakashipu, had completely sunk the Bhumandala down to the bottom of the ocean, and Lord Varaha, he came to protect Bhumi Devi and also to kill the demon Hiranyayaksha. So in the story, later on we'll describe a bit more why there's 2 personalities, or rather 2 Leelas of Lord Varahadev. But also there are many, many other pastimes of the Supreme Lord which are described in more detail. Now, many of you have come across the 8 Puranas, Mahapuranas. So there are 18 Puranas, and it's been said that the Varaha Purana was actually written between the 10th and 12th century during the time of Lord Ramanujacharya. And it consists of about 24,000 verses and about 215 chapters. Just to give you an idea of the different Puranas and the names, hopefully you can see this. It starts off with the Brahma Purana with 10,000 slokas, Padma Purana 55,000 slokas, Vishnu Purana 23,000 slokas. So there are many, many Puranas in there, going on to Srimad Bhagavad Purana, Narada Purana. Further down, you've got the Varaha Purana, and that contains 24,000 verses. So it's quite a lot if you consider some of the other Puranas. So even though the Srimad Bhagavatam only has about 2 or 3 chapters covering Lord Varahadev and his pastimes, but there are specific books that describes in more detail about the pastimes of Lord Varaha, or perhaps even the pastimes of the other personalities, like in this case, the Madhya Purana, perhaps even describing the beautiful qualities of the story of Lord Matsya, even Lord, even here, look, Srimad Bhagavad Purana, which is also similar to the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, which is the topics that we're reading from, is the 18,000 slokas. But at the same time, when we actually read the pastimes of the the narration of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there has to be some emblem of attachment to the Supreme Lord in order to understand who this personality is. Now, even when you see, as I mentioned previously, when you see a boar, it doesn't always look very pleasing if you've been to certain parts of the countries, say where there's spores around, say in India, for instance. They're not exactly kept in a very nice area. They just stay in a very sort of a filthy area, muddy area. But here it describes how Lord Varaha was so beautiful with lotus eyes, with lotus tusks, and so forth, even though there was blood pouring from his mouth when he was killing the demon Hiranyayaksha. It was considered to be such a pleasing sort of appearance on the Lord himself. So just to give a little breakdown of the Puranas as well. The Brahma Purana is named after Lord Brahma, and it discusses about, or rather the Puranas itself gives a foundation for understanding creation of the universe, the cosmic order, the principles of life, to explore the divine manifestations, the roles of the Lords. The existence is interconnected, providing all the spiritual cultural insights. So the Puranas, as listed here, Brahma Purana is named after Lord Brahma, the creator of the Brahman Puran, and its origins of the cosmos and the process of creation. It also highlights the sacred geography, focusing on all the temples and the spiritual sites, emphasizing on the significance of pilgrimage and spiritual practice. So these are wonderful books that if you do get an opportunity to read as well, but of course, focus on the main books, which are of course the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then it goes into Padma Purana. Padma Purana is a detailed exposition of the creation and destruction cycles, emphasizing the glory of Lord Vishnu and the power of devotion, bhakti. The Vishnu Purana, dedicated to the Lord Vishnu, the Vishnu Purana focuses on maintaining cosmic order and righteousness, or could say Dharma. The Vayu Purana, Vayu, of course, is the wind god, centered on the wind god. Vayu Purana explores the cosmic elements and its role in our life. It also describes the genealogy of gods, sages, and kings, kind of a bridge between mythology and history. It's another use the word mythology, we should actually use it as a form of understanding the Sanatana Dharma from a historical point of view, from the spiritual perspective of the Vedas and these Puranas. The Bhagavad Purana, renowned for its poetic beauty, the Bhagavad Purana admires all the plays, leelas of Lord Krishna. Bhakti's priority devotion as the highest path into salvation is considered a spiritual guide for seekers. So I'm not sure if any of you were there for the special Mahasangha with Dinabandha Prabhu. Dinabandha Prabhu is a renowned, almost like a Brijbasi, because he's been staying in Vrindavan for 40 years, and was describing the beautiful glories of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, the Gopas, the Gopis, and Vrindavan. And he was reciting so many beautiful prayers and stories from the Leelas of Vrindavan that many of them aren't actually narrated in the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Krishna Leela book. And then I asked him, where do you recite all these beautiful stories of Krishna from? Where do they come from? And he mentioned that, of course, they come from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, but a lot of them are from additional books that he's been reading, like Gopajayu, and there's other books as well, specific to the narration and topics, pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. So there's so many beautiful pastimes that one could read, and there's never going to be a dull moment where you're not going to fill your life by not being able to utilize every second of your life by reading these particular books, wonderful glories and pastimes of the Lord. Then it goes on to the Bhagavad Purana, renowned for its poetic beauty. The Bhagavad Purana admires all the plays. Oh, sorry, I mentioned that earlier on. Narada Purana, named after the divine sage. Purana emphasizes the significance of devotion and music and spiritual awakening. So there's a specific Purana on the connection to the Supreme Lord in the form of music, in the form of songs, in the form of recitation of beautiful songs, glorifying of the Supreme Lord. And the next four Puranas show the different perspective of creation. These are opinions of creation, exploring cosmic phenomena, divine attributes and all the different rituals that one conducts in performance in their spiritual journeys and spiritual principles in the material world. So there's the Markandeya Purana, named after the sage Markandeya. Markandeya Purana offers a blend of mythology, history, and philosophy. It is particularly known for the Devi Mahatmya, which glorifies the goddess Durga, the role in cosmic balance, encouraging the power of divine female energy in creation and protection. Then you've got the Agni Purana, which is dedicated to Yagni, the fire god. Agni Purana delves into the roles of fires and pujas, rituals of creation. You have the Surya Purana, the Purana venerates Surya, the sun god, the survival for life, describes the solar worship, the solar dynasty, the significance of sunlight and keeping creation. Earlier on in the chapters that you were reading about the creation, and you were discussing about time, the atom, and the different attributes within the cosmology itself. Then you have the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. This Purana focuses on the cosmic interplay between Brahma, the creator, Krishna, and Radha, portraying creation as a divine play. So this is almost like a Leela between Brahma, the creator, Krishna. Let's say it's the creator, the actual creator is Krishna. Brahma is just subordinate to Krishna. He's been given the benediction and the privilege of creating progeny within the material world by the will of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So here are the next Vishnu Puranas, or the Puranas specific for the Vishnu avatars. These Puranas focus on the various avatars of Lord Vishnu, emphasizing his role, the cosmos as a preserver and a protector. So first of all, you got the Linga Purana. They're primarily dedicated to Lord Shiva, the symbol of the Lingam. Linga Purana also acknowledges Vishnu's role, cosmic creation and sustenance. Then this is the Purana that we are focusing on from the Srimad Bhagavatam chapters. This Purana recounts the story of Vishnu's Varaha avatar, where he takes the form of a boar to save the earth from the speed of the cosmic ocean. It features courage, protection, balancing the creation of victory of good over evil. Then you have the Vamana Purana, the Skanda Purana, Kurma Purana, Matsya Purana, all describing the different pastimes and leelas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as I mentioned earlier. Then the final two Puranas, completion of the cosmic stories, they tell you about the culmination, tying these themes together: creation, preservation, destruction, and the ultimate truth. So that you've got the Garuda Purana, you've got the Brahmananda Purana. Okay, so that gives you a little background about the 18 Mahapuranas, of which one of them is the Varaha Purana, which has 24,000 verses, covering over 215 chapters. So then also I wanted to mention about Vidura, because he was so anxious about learning about the different leelas of the Supreme Lord. It actually glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam in so many ways. Some of the verses I sort of found from the internet. This is from Krishna Leela Stava, verses 4:12 to 4:16. Does anybody want to read these verses? Nikhil, since you've got your camera, could you see that?
Yeah, I can read, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, great.
All of them?
Oh yeah, you can do, yeah.
Okay. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You are actually Lord Krishna who has returned among us. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss, for your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone, for you are an incarnation of Lord Krishna. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please do not ever leave me. Please become manifested upon my heart and upon my throat, accompanied by pure love of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Nikhil Prabhu. So nicely translated, read out. So this actually explains the beautiful importance of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's considered to be the literal incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And it appeared during the beginning of the Kali Yuga as when Lord Krishna left, as we all know the story, where Parikshit Maharaj only had 7 days to live. And then Sukadev Goswami happened to narrate the whole Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj and to the other sages who were there at that time. But it just shows you it's not an ordinary sort of document or drawing, a story, something itself. It's actually not different from Lord Krishna himself. And right now, because of the Bhadra campaign, Bhadra Purnima campaign, we're actually encouraging everybody to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, try and encourage to actually worship the Srimad Bhagavatam, try and encourage to even sponsor Srimad Bhagavatam to those who may not be able to afford it, or possibility of giving it as a gift to your friend, your neighbor, your relatives, wedding gift as well. I know I gave one to my nephew on his wedding day a couple of years ago, but it's such a nice gift to give to them because it's an eternal gift. It's not of some material substance. It is of the spiritual world. We're so fortunate that way Srila Prabhupada has translated the verses, it actually shows you a breakdown of each of the syllables, word for word, with the English translation and the full translation and the purpose as we read it. Because sometimes when you read the purport, read the verses, it may not always make sense. Just like later on, we'll be discussing about why there's two Lord Varahadev. There's the incarnation of Lord Varahadev in his form as a white personality, and another form recognized in his red complexion. One particular verse that always stands out from my mind is this particular verse itself. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse 17. Ayoharati vaipamsam ujyanastamya janasho dashartek yadkshano nita dhamashloka vartaya. Does anybody know the translation for this verse? Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse 17. Okay. This is such a beautiful verse. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life for everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Now, most of us know that. Do we really spend all of every single second of our life discussing about the topics of the Supreme Lord? Half of our time is actually spent on gossiping, or perhaps even wasting time unnecessarily. Of course, we have our duties to do. We have our work commitment. We have a family to look after. We have our duties looking around the house. But at the same time, if you look at certain devotees, they're actually constantly listening to some Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, listening to a kirtan, listening to a class, lecture by Srila Prabhupada or the senior devotees. And it's actually wonderful that if you are able to do that, when you're cleaning the house, just glorifying the Supreme Lord by singing his songs. There's so many unlimited songs that we can sing, but of course, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the most benevolent mantra that allows us to connect directly with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this day and age, the reason why we don't tend to spend every second of our life in reflecting on the Supreme Lord because of anarthas, because of our conditioning, because of all the difficulties that one may have faced in our challenges in our life, stressful time, certain situation, we may be praying to the Supreme Lord for the wrong reasons, for material benefit, rather than for our spiritual upliftment in our own journey. It's sometimes covered by Maya, by delusion, by the qualities of anger, lust, and greed, which are actually setting ourselves a big gap, a big distance between ourselves and the Supreme Lord and the devotees, the pure devotees. And sometimes it's also to do with envy. Envy plays a big role in our life to avoid listening to the beautiful topics of the Supreme Lord. Now, last week there was a beautiful, beautiful class. If you do get a chance to listen to it in the morning class on Saturday morning, the date was 25th of May. It was by Urmila Mataji. She's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, very, very senior devotee. And she gives wonderful classes, discourses, retreats on particular topics and themes from the Srimad Bhagavatam. But last week, she was discussing about the theme about envy. Now, she was describing a lot of details about why we become envious, why a lot of the stories from the Srimad Bhagavatam encompasses a lot of personalities who had a lot of envy for the Supreme Lord and how they were destroyed. So just for time, I would actually ask everybody if they know of any particular personalities, demonic or good personalities who are very envious of the Lord, and as a result, was the cause of their own destruction. Does anybody know of any personalities who are very envious of the Lord?
Shishupal,
Sheshapal, yes, one. Anyone else?
Ravan, Kumbhakaran,
Yes, Ravan, Kumbhakarna,
Hiranyak, Hiranyakashipu,
Hiranya, Yaksha, and Hiranyakashipu,
Jarasandh.
Jarasandh, yes.
There's a lot, Prabhuji.
Anyone else? Nikhil, Prabhu, can you think of anyone?
She also spoke about Indra and
Yes, yes, she did.
Govardhan pastime, but then she also talked about Indra and Prithu Maharaj as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Indra was very jealous of Prithu Maharaj because he became the personality of Earth, the kingdom. He became the emperor because the story goes that his father was a demonic person and they burnt him to ashes, and from the bones they recited certain mantras. From there came Prithu Maharaj, and I believe a sister came from the ashes as well. But anyway, while he was conducting certain yajnas to cultivate and fertilize the land again, Indra became very jealous, very envious, and he came and he tried to destroy this the special ceremony performed by Prithu Maharaj. Yes, Indra was very envious. There was other personalities as well. Of course, Duryodhana, he was very envious of the Pandavas, and because Krishna was very favorable towards the Pandavas, although he was equal to both of them, he gave privileges to both of them, but it was only the Pandavas who took advantage of his kindness, his friendship, and because of that, the Kauravas were completely destroyed. Once again, there was another story as well. Daksha, he was very envious of Lord Shiva, was considered to be one of the topmost devotee of Lord Vishnu, and because of his envy, was the cause of his own downfall as well. Kamsa, he was always envious of the Supreme Lord, and because of his envy, he even put in prison Lord Krishna's own mother and father. Can you believe that? Lord Krishna's mother and father was put into prison by the envious Kamsa, and Kamsa, of course, was killed by no other than Lord Krishna himself. And I believe in Daleka Mataji mentioned about Ravana, he had so much lust and greed for Sita Devi, and that was also the cause of his envy as well. And as we hear from the Bhagavatam, from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it mentions that it is lust alone, Arjuna, which is born in contact with the mature Bodhi passion, which is later transformed into wrath, which is the old devouring sinful enemy of this world in the form of anger. So we can see from lust, we have envy. From lust turns into anger. And in the other verses, it mentions about while contemplating on the objects, one develops attachment for them. From such attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger rises. From anger, one completely deludes himself. His memory is bewildered. And once memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. Once intelligence is lost, one again falls down into the material pool. So it just shows you from envy and lust, it is also the cause of our own destruction. So one of the things I wanted to mention as well is about the importance about the 5 activities by connected to the Supreme Lord, by being very focused on the Supreme Lord. It mentions about one particular verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, encourages 5 particular opportunities for devotees to ensure they always stay on the path of righteousness, stay on the path of Krishna consciousness. Does anybody know what those 5 precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is? I'm sure you'd know, but just perhaps certain people, when they ask a certain question, people may get a bit confused. Is he asking this question or that question, or is it related to this verse or that verse? Does anybody want to read this verse?
Can you repeat your question, Prabhuji?
Yeah, there was a question I wanted to say was there's 5 precepts that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned. And this was the verse I was referring to. So some people may not see it as a precept. Some people may see it as certain activities and duties that one must perform in order to remain Krishna consciousness. Indulekha Mataji, did you want to read this verse and the translation?
Through the teachings, we start from there?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, there's no harm.
Okay. Through his teachings and by his actions, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had defined 5 things that are considered the most important things in Krishna consciousness. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has explained these in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavat Sravana Mathuravasa Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. One should associate these devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura, and worship the deity with faith and veneration. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita 22.128.
Thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji. Yeah, so this is a beautiful verse. We should try and memorize this verse. So whatever you're finding difficulties in one's journey in their spiritual sadhana, just associate with the senior devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, recite the Srimad Bhagavatam. You may not be able to do it at every convenient time, but certainly if you listen to it in the background, we can see that the transcendental vibration is considered that it vibrates into the atmosphere and it rebounds back again. It's said 7 times, just like when you throw a little pebble in a pond, you see the ripple effect that goes from the middle of the pebble where it's fallen into the pond and resonates or rebounds against the edges, comes back again. So similarly, any transcendental names that you recite or hear is considered to go through the sound waves 7 times back and forth. So you're always, the louder you chant, obviously the better. If it's not always feasible, certainly whenever you can, listen to the Supreme Personality of Godhead's topic of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, I'll go to the next verse. This is text 2. Vidura vacha taneva tu manishwashta harina yagya murtina adite chora nyaksho mata iti anushrama. The translation, Sri Vidura said, O chief amongst the great sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyayaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifices the personality of Godhead, Lord bore. Purport. As referred to previously, the boy incarnation was manifested in 2 millenniums, namely Swayambhuva and Chakshusha. In both the millenniums, there was a boy incarnation of the Lord, but in the Swayambhuva millennium, lifted the earth from within the water of the universe, whereas in the Chakshusha millennium, he killed the first demon, Hiranyayaksha. The Swayambhuva millennium, he assumed the color white, and in the Chakshusha millennium, assumed the color red. Vidura had already heard about one of them, and he proposed to hear about the other. The 2 different boy incarnations described are the one Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here it actually explains, and although you may have, if you've joined in the Srimad Bhagavatam class over the last few days, it mentioned this in a bit more detail as well. There's actually 2 incarnations of Lord Varaha, one in the form of the color white and one in the form of the color red. So during the Swayambhuva Manu, he lifted the earth itself, and also, which was actually considered to be the whole of the Bhumandala. And during that time, his complexion was white. So Swayambhuva Manu was one of the first, the Manus, the father of mankind. From the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it mentions, Lord Krishna mentions to Arjuna, I first spoke to perishable science to the sun god Vivashwan. Vivashwan instructed it to Ishvaku, and Ishvaku in turn related to his son, who was Swayambhuva Manu. So actually, it shows you that in another millennium, when we refer to a millennium, it's not actually necessarily 1,000 years as we refer to in material terms. Millennium could refer to another yuga, another periodic cycle or era itself. But in the Chakshusha millennium, it mentions that Lord Varahadev, he also killed a demon, Hiranyayaksha, and saved Mother Earth. And this time he also had the complexion of a gold, the red one. So here the demon Hiranyayaksha, the word Hiranyaksha refers to golden eye. And it is said that he accumulated so much gold from Mother Earth and he stored it somewhere else and caused the Mother Earth to be out of balance and fall down to the bottom of the ocean. And this is where Lord Varaha came to specifically save. Sorry, I just got to mute somebody. Sorry, Nilika Mataji, just mute you. He actually appeared in this red form and he actually came from the task. He also lifted up Mother Earth as well. Now, sometimes it's very difficult to understand why is there two appearances of the Supreme Lord. I'm just going to quickly go through this. This is from Chaitanya Chandradas, The Mysteries of the Vedas, and it explains. It's not scrolling up anymore. Okay, here we go. This is the beautiful form of the Lord in this red complexion, lifted up Mother Earth through his beautiful chest. So here it mentions that the Srimad Bhagavatam describes the appearance of two different incarnations of Lord Varadev, one white and another red, which came at different times. However, the pastimes of both appearances are amalgamated in the same description, chapter 13 of the third canto, which makes it a little hard to understand. From that verse, verse 31 from chapter 13, Srila Prabhupada mentions that according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vedic literature describes the incarnation of Lord Varaha bore two different devastations, namely the Chakshusha devastation and the Swayambhuva devastation. This particular appearance of the boar incarnation actually took place Swayambhuva devastation. So you can understand that the story that we're relating in the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually from the Swayambhuva period, when all the planets other than the higher ones, Jana, Maha, and Satya, emerged in the water of devastation. This particular incarnation of the boar was seen by the inhabitants of the planets mentioned above. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti suggests that the sage Maitreya amalgamated both the boar incarnations, different devastations, and summarized them in his descriptions to Vidura. Now it goes on to explain the reason why. In this Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as in the other Puranas, the emphasis is on the pastimes and the lessons we learn from them, and not on chronological order. Sometimes pastimes that happen over a very long span of time amalgamated with pastimes that happened recently in the cosmic scale of time. For example, in the 12th chapter of the third canto, we hear the story of Brahma becoming attracted to his daughter. In this purport, Prabhupada mentions this extraordinary morality of the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on Bhagavatam, that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. This indicates that before the hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality, but after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. So it can it carries on a little bit more detail about this particular pastime of Lord Brahma. And it mentions now that we're on the first day of Lord Brahma's 50th birthday. Then it goes on to talk about Lord Brahma's life chronology, his lifespan, and so forth. But if we focus on Lord Varaha, when we speak about the appearances of Lord Varaha, both stories happen to be in the current day of Brahma. The story of the first Varaha, the white Varaha, happened at the beginning of the day during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, when the creation of the universe was still going on. In this pastime, he lifted the whole Bhumandala, and there was no fight with Hiranyaksha. Because of the appearance of Lord Varahadev in this white form, the reign of Swayambhuva Manu is also called the Sveta Varaha millennium. Sveta Varaha means white Varaha. Also, because of its appearance, the current day of Brahma is called Sveta Varaha Kalpa. Lord Varaha appeared for a second time more recently during the reign of Chakshusha Manu, which is the sixth Manu in the sequence. Each Manu reigns for a total of 306.72 million years. So there is a gap of at least 1.533 billion Puranic years between the two appearances of Sri Varahadev. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, 16, Srila Prabhupada mentions, according to Jiva Goswami, the topics delineated here are of different millenniums. The present topics of the Sveta Varaha millennium, topics regarding the Chakshusha millennium will also be discussed in this chapter. So there it gives you a bit more explanation about the reason why there's two forms of Lord Varaha. I hope this makes it slightly clearer for you rather than me trying to explain it. Will take forever more for you to understand. So finally, Lord Varahadev is listed as a Leela avatar, which suggests that he appears repeatedly. It seems that the appearance of the red Varahadev, this fight with Hiranyaksha, happens every day of Brahma. So if you can imagine, this pastime is taking place every day of Lord Brahma. While the appearance of the white Varahadev is a special occurrence in any case, such, just as in other incarnations of the Lord, his pastimes are thus unlimited. Thanks to the descriptions of Sukadeva Goswami, we know about two of his appearances. So it mentions about how many waves there are in the ocean or the river. That's how many appearances of the Supreme Lord takes place. So it's almost unimaginable to count how many waves there are, because constantly the waves are disappearing and new waves are coming again and again and replacing the old waves. So forevermore, the Lord is appearing, no matter how many waves there are, countless number of waves. Similarly, there's countless number of personalities praying in the form of the Supreme Lord in this different lila of their form. I'll just read the last two verses. There's no purport to these. Verse number 3, Tasya Jodarata Koshonim Svadamastra Grihina Lilaya Tetyarajasya Cha Brahman Kashmadito Abhumridaha. Translation: what was the reason of Brahmana for the fight between the demon king and Lord Bull while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime? Text 4. Shadadanaya Bhaktaya Pruhita Jama Vishtaram Vishena Tripyate Banaha Param Kota Avalam Hime. Translation: my mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. Please therefore speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful. Purport: one who is actually faithful and inquisitive is qualified to hear the transcendental pastimes, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidura was a suitable candidate to receive such a transcendental message. So hopefully today I was able to explain the reasons for the two appearances of the Supreme Lord in this form, in the white complexion, the red complexion, describe why Vidura is so eager to hear more about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, and why we should also take that same sort of qualification as Vidura to constantly listen to hear about the topics of the Supreme Lord, but also explaining the reasons why we sort of ponder on why we have reasons to not wanting to listen to the Supreme Lord. And one of the main reasons is envy. We're also busy in our life, in our circle of life, but envy is one of the main reasons that we always want to avoid listening to the Supreme Lord. And as we mentioned, what happens to a person who is very envious of the Lord causes their destructions in their life. And the envy is not just to the Supreme Lord, but also can be envious to other devotees, even envious to people who are non-devotees as well. It is actually one of the cause of destruction in one's life. Then, of course, one of the most important thing I mentioned was about the beautiful pastimes of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's arisen at the time when Lord disappeared, and it's a literal incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So we may take this opportunity as a budget campaign to take this Srimad Bhagavatam, sponsor to somebody else who may not have this opportunity to have the Srimad Bhagavatam, read it ourselves, imbibe in the narration and understand the stories and leelas and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, and also explain it to others who may benefit from these beautiful pastimes too, not just from the narration point of view, but from a devotional point of view, from a practical point of view. By putting it into practice, one also becomes more favorable for Krishna to award you with pure devotion. Thank you, everyone. Once again, if I've made any mistakes, kindly forgive me. And I'll pass it over to Nikol Prabhu, who'll be singing a beautiful bhajan, I believe.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. So today we have Nikhil Prabhuji singing bhajan Jaya Re Jaya Thakur Narottama, and dear Orpita will be reading the English translation of the bhajan. So Jyoti Mataji is sharing the bhajan. So Orpita, are you ready?
Yes, Mataji.
So you can read the English translation first, and after that, Nikhil Prabhuji will sing the bhajan. So, yeah, Jyoti Mataji, can you please share the English? Yeah. Is it okay for you, Arpita, or should we increase the font?
No, that's okay, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. You can start.
Hare Krishna. Translation. All glories to Thakura Narottama, the great king of loving devotion, whose counselor was Ramachandra Kaviraja, who was none different from him. His Prama was the crown jewel of the ornamental symptoms of ecstasy he showed in his body. He sat on the throne of the kingdom of Katuri in the company of his assembled devotees. Every day, he discussed the theistic scriptures compiled by Sri Sanatan and Rupa Goswami, which contain the splendid amorous flavors of Sri Radha and Madhava, and that are the essence of topmost ecstasy. In the ecstasy of Sri Sankirtan, he did not know what was pious and what was impious. Yoga, charity, vows, and other kinds of piety fled far away, while fruitive activities and non-dualistic knowledge were weeping. He upheld the honor of those theistic scriptures that bestowed the treasure of devotion, and when they saw his might, Sankhya, Mimamsaka, Taraka, and other speculative philosophies trembled. The thief-like non-devotees fled far away, unable to shine their light in his vicinity. He gave the treasure of devotion to lowly and fallen fellows, and Govinda Das covets the same. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Opta, for reciting the English translation. Yeah, just before I get Krishna Govinda Prabhu, just wanted to mention we could probably easily remember the two different incarnations because, we normally consider red to be color of anger. So we can try and remember like that he took on an angry color, when he's there to fight Hiranyaksha. It just can help us to remember which one is which. But yeah, so I chose this bhajan because Narottam Das Thakur is one of my, I guess, heroes. And so it mentions in the first couple of verses, it talks about Narottam Das Thakur and Ramachandra Kaviraj. And he said, they're non-different from each other. So they were they had such a amazing loving relationship that sometimes devotees said they are one soul in two bodies. And we can see there the author of this bhajan is Govinda Das Kaviraj, who is the younger brother of Ramachandra Kaviraj, and both brothers were given this name of Kaviraj. Kavi means poet, so they're like kings of poets. These two brothers, and they were given this name Kaviraj by Jiva Goswami. So in that sense, it's powerful because it's written by someone who actually knew Narottam Das Thakur. So obviously, they know what they're talking about. They actually had his association. Okay, so we'll start. Jaya re, Jaya re, Jaya Thakur Narottam, Prema Bhakti Maharaj. Ya Karamantri Abhinna Kalevara, Ramachandra Kaviraj, Prema Mukutamani Bhushana Bhavavali, Angahi Angaviraja, Nripasana Keturi Mahavaitato, Sangahi Vakata Samaj, Sanatana Rupa Krita Granta Bhagavata, Anudina Koroto Vichara, Radha Madhava Yugala Ujjwala Rasa Paramananda Sukha Sara, Shri Sankirtana Vishayara Sevunamata, Dharma Dharma Nahi Jano, Yoga Dana Vrata Adivaye Bhagato, Royato Karamagayana, Bhagavata Shastra Gana, Yodehi Bhakti Dhanna, Tako Gaurava Koru Apa, Sankhya Mimamsaka Tarkadika Joto Kampita Deki Paratapa, Abhakata Chora Durahi Vagirohu, Niyare Nahi Parakasha, Dinahina Jane Deyalo Bhakti Dhane, Vanchita Govinda Dasa, Vanchita Govinda Dasa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Govinda Das Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Nicole Prabhu. It's always
Hare
nice
Krishna
to hear your
Prabhuji.
beautiful voice.
So nice bhajan. Thank you.
Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, for participating in today's class. Was there any questions or comments at all? No? Okay. I just all wish you a wonderful week ahead. Please keep up your enthusiasm, chanting the holy name, reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, singing beautifully like Nicole Prabhu. Such a wonderful devotee, Nicole is, very humble devotee. Okay, please take some humble obeisances. Vanchikapatarvyasya kripa
Kripa
sindhubhya
sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.